Hi folks, and thank you for coming back for another lesson. So up until this point, if you've been following along, I've been, for at least the last 5 lessons, going over the head and how to think about drawing it, and more so preliminary steps I like to take to ensure that a certain style and feel comes through in the end result of my character designs. So, if you found them helpful, a few people have got back to me and let me know that they have. If you found them helpful, I'm very grateful that the lesson sunk through. If it still does not make sense to you, there actually is a method that many artists in the industry use. It's not too different from the one I've demonstrated for you, and if you want from here on out, I would even suggest using my methods and this method in unison to even strengthen your character designs further. This method we're going to learn about today, and this will be the final video I do on the heads for at least a while, is called the Lumis Method. Alright? And what it attempts to do for you is break down the head into thirds, similarly to how I've done it for you guys. The way I did it for you guys, if this is new to you watching, I broke down the head in terms of the cranium, the zygomatic process leading into the zygomatic bone, temporal area, and supraorbital foramen area, which makes up your brow, which is actually one group, and then the third group being your jawbone. Okay, this Lumis method encapsulates a little bit of everything. So what you're seeing in front of you here is a character of mine. His name is Clive, and I've applied the Lumis method to Clive's head. I did not design Clive or this character design of Clive with the Lumis method intended, but to show you the strength of what the Lumis method intends, or to show you the strength of the Lumis method, you will see here in my diagrams that it is ever so present on each of my sketches. Okay? It helps you in the long run for keeping consistency with the way your characters look and getting to a faster end result while you're constructing the finer details on the page. One of them being faces, obviously. So I'm going to attempt to draw 2 little examples for you. I'll basically do these ones over top of my sketches again for you. I'll do the profile right here, and I'll do the 3/4 right here from scratch over top of my drawings to emphasize what we're actually working with here, okay? So, let's begin. So essentially, before we even have a drawing, okay, what we're working with here is a circular shape. And that circular shape is going to actually encompass pretty much the entire area. You're going to have nose, forehead, mouth, all that encompassed within it. Alright, if I take away the drawing, you can see it. It's just kind of a circular ovalish shape, right? It's creating an area right in here. Alright, and I'll explain this as I go. And in that area, you're going to quarter up this little circular surface, okay? And that quarter is going to represent a few things for us. It's going to represent pretty well the center point as this cranium shape comes out, right? Keep in mind we're going to be using perspective and for shortening as we go along here, alright? What you have here in the 4 quarters is one particular area now designated for your ear, okay? And this mid crossing, this crossing area is going to represent the brow. Okay, this top point right here, where the cross meets the circle or the oval, we're going to come out, and then same at the bottom here, we're going to come out. Alright, the bottom represents where the nose is going to be, the top represents where the forehead's going to be, okay? And then this is the brow, okay? Bottom of the nose. And then the very first circle that we drew here, as it wraps around, is actually going to indicate, for the most part, a mouth area, okay? Now, you may ask yourself, how do I throw a jaw in there? How do I depict the rest of these areas in the face, okay? If we come out like so, from the crisscross in the in this surface area here closest to us, if we draw a straight line right out, we actually get an area designated for where the jaw would be. And if we go back to the drawing here, you're going to see it starts lining up in all these areas, okay? And I'll show you, if it doesn't perfectly make sense what I've drawn there so far, how it does, okay? Now, in my case, I know how my character's face is moving, and I know that all these planes in the face are moving like away from the camera as we see this profile. So keep that in mind. Where my jawbone stops is right about this mark. It actually goes out. We're going to just pretend without using the drawing here, okay? We got the chin. There's a point from right here, alright, where the circle on the inside and the cross meet the edge, right there. You're going to draw straight out to that tip of the chin, okay? And then the forehead, this is going to be, let's say, its maximum point right here, the forehead, and we'll draw that back down to the tip of the chin. Okay? Drawing our first circle again. And we should have a good map of the face now. Okay? And there's the area for the ear. Okay? So how does that all work, you ask yourself? How does that make sense? How do you get a face out of that? Well, we know that this portion of the face is the center, okay? That's what we're seeing on a profile. Everything past it, we can't see. So everything that comes around it is going to wrap around like so. Okay, notice how these lines, they start to curve up, right? These ones in the center, they kind of flat, and then they curve back around like so. Okay, there's perspective going on there. It's probably like a 1.9. It's not there per se. The point's a little further off the page, but as you can see, all those points are more or less going to that. All right, and that's what's giving this profile of my face in the end result the look that it has. Okay, so you may ask yourself, well, how do you know about the brow, and how do you know about all that? Well, I want my brow and I want my bridge of my nose area to be on that line that I've already designated. I can articulate the brows however I want to and still bring it down to that point, bring my bridge of my nose in to form, like I've mentioned in prior videos, a canopy of sorts, you know, which is your brow as it leads into the nose, you know. Leads into the nose, and then from the tip of the nose to the tip of the chin, which you've already established, you now have an area to accurately detail in the area for your snout, you know, where the nose sits, where the lips sit on the line, and where the chin rests against it. See how that all starts to work? You may ask yourself the same question for this line that I've drawn for the brow here. How does it work with this line coming from this meet point right here? How do I articulate that to the nose? Well, like I said, again, you're going to follow these perspective lines leading out from the furthest point of the face, okay, and meet it up somewhere in there. I hope that makes sense. It's that this is where it gets tricky, really, is butting in the actual details of the face. But you know, what I've taught you so far, you should at least by this point have a good idea of how the volumes in the face move around. So having this map to kind of reconstruct it all for you is only going to strengthen and hopefully tighten up your artwork. You know what I mean? Just keep in mind though that this line right here doesn't represent the eye line. All right, you're using this to represent where the brow is and the top of the ear. Okay. And you're using this line right here to determine where the bottom of the ear is going to reside, essentially, where the nose is also going to fall. If we draw straight lines out from it, okay? And you may ask yourself, well, how do I figure out the mouth area? Well, you've now got, like I said in the beginning, you've got one area right in here. You've got another area in the center, and you've got another area at the bottom. You've got your face now in thirds. So determining where your mouth is, at least from a profile view, you're going to use that technique I showed you before where we draw that tip of the nose line to the tip of the chin line and calculate everything else from there. We know that the jaw has to sit lower than the mouth, right? So that jaw has to be lower than the mouth. That's going to give us an indication of how long we want it. And we know from Lumis Method that the jaw starts from that center point of the oval we initially drew. Okay? So you've got a map of the face, right? Completely mapped out for you on a profile view here using Lumis Method, you know, and my initial drawing there that I did over top, it's not much different from the one that I ended up with. You can see I changed on my initial drawing here these points a little where they intersect right here. I kind of mapped my my foreshadowing and perspective lines a little more this way, you know. This one in the center still remains pretty level with the other side of the face. And then as my mouth would come around, it would start coming like so, you know. I hope that makes sense. And then this would come up and around like so. And this would come up and around like so. Up and around like so. Alright, and we're really pushing you to focus right in there, you know. Okay, so let's work on a 3/4 and show the same principle, okay? So you have your 3/4 head. What you got here is a circular shape encapsulating a whole whack of detail. Alright, you've got your little oval in this space over here. You can bud this one because it's on a 3/4 right up to the back of your circle, okay? Not like the profile where you've got room here, you know. Bud this right up to the back of the circle, okay? In this case, I'm going to use my my drawing in the background the whole time to illustrate some of the points I want to make. Note that angle right there from the top of the ear to the tip of the eyes. We're going to go like this just for sake of the lesson, all right? And there's my crisscross, all right? Or we'll say it's right here, all right? So ear's going to be in that general area where I have it, right? Jaw coming out from that line. The brow, okay, kind of hangs down like that. Now we have an area for our bridge of our nose, okay? This right here comes up and around. Now you have the top of the head, all right? That's where the hair starts. And then same with this line right here. going to come out and around. And there your nose is. Your nose is going to lie on that line. It's going to come back and around as it foreshortens. Same with this one. Okay? So now you have some dimension there and space designated for the face. Now what comes next? All right? Because you can use all the same principles that you were using in a profile on a 3/4. So what comes next? This point right here, which is going to give us an indication of where the face is going. And look, you know, not to mention when we draw in that chin, okay? We get that line here. If we've done it right, everything should butt up nicely against it. The temporal bone, okay? The zygomatic bone should butt up against it. Your mouth should butt up against it. Part of your chin should butt up against it. Okay? The chin, it's coming out and around in perspective and in foreshortening with the rest of the planes in the face. Okay? And then same on the opposite side of the face, that tip goes down. Remember, it goes this way underneath because the brow essentially is one of the furthest portions of your face other than your nose. So you keep everything back within that. All right? It's subtle, but it's necessary that you do that when you're building the rest of the face, okay? Check it out. We've got pretty much everything we need to build. Okay? If I take away my drawing, you can see the construction lines there that make up the face. The Lumis method in full effect, okay? Find the center, dips in, dips out, dips in, dips out, dips in, dips out. And there you go. You've got dimension, you've got your face, you've got playing fields that you can now start building upon, you know. And then, you know, start throwing everything else like I taught you into perspective, and you'll start having a face in no time, you know. There you go. And as a bonus, I went ahead and grabbed a few of the best artists out there, or at least who were the best artists 20, 30 years ago. And you probably recognize their names and their work. I've got Travis Charest, and I've used the Lumis method on his character there, the Punisher, or his version of the Punisher there. And you can see how it all works. Starting from all those points, I'm able to get the exact points in the face where I want to branch off my my details. This oval here probably should have came down just a little bit more, just like so. But everything else, all those meeting points, you know, let's take a second and check it all out. Look at all those meeting points, you know. Coming around, okay, coming around. The bottom here, ignore this. Got where the ear sits in there. The bottom's right here. You can see that from that point, you come around, you get where the nose is. You can see his character underneath there. Underneath would be the mouth. You know, if I was drawing the circle originally, that's probably where it would fall, just like so. The chin, you know, he's doing this exact method to get the end result here. All right. Same with the great JSC, Scott Campbell, and with Danger Girl, same method applies. You got your little oval on the side, you got your cross through it, you got the angle of the head, okay, the tilt of the head, and from there he's able to determine where the brow's going. All right, from the bottom here he's able to determine where the nose needs to start, or where it needs to end at least. Okay, he's got the jaw area determined from the plus sign on the oval. Okay, those three compartments, 1, 2, 3, you know, and then he builds everything else within them. Again, Mark Silvestri, Switchblade, is using the same technique. There's her face in sketch. He probably just drew a circle, threw a line down the middle, and freestyled the rest of it because he's so good. This is a little tiny little sketch, right? But look, regardless, all the principles are still there, And when you're looking at a head on a front view, you can still use the Lumis method, Notice that the ovals on the side, we can see both of them when we're looking straight at a face, okay? And we get, yet again, the tilt of the forehead, all right, the angle of the brow from all of that information, all right, and notice my flat horizontal lines lining up all the areas too, where the jaw is, where the chin is. Obviously much easier to draw the face, straight on than to do it in perspective from any other angle. This is yet a hard angle too because it begs for its own subtleties, but keep in mind the way it's designed there. All the points that I mentioned in the profile view and in the three-quarter view using the Lumis method, they all still apply to the front view too. So there's more proof of it, And then lastly, I got Jim Lee, the Great, and again, the Lumis method applies to his Batman drawings. All of these, I'm pretty sure, except for the J. Scott Campbell one, are quick convention-style commissions. So, they don't have a lot of time to draw these. And, whether they're using this to do their initial sketch or not, I think at this point they don't have to because it's so built into them. I don't really have to use it because it's kind of built into me, but I like to use it because it just strengthens your design. And if you're ever having an issue or something doesn't look right, you can correct it. If there is a way to correct it, like almost mathematically. So again, with Batman here, you've got all the same principles applied to his face and how it works. So go on and try this, and keep your faces simple while you're constructing them using this method, because you really want to hit home the structure. Draw them big, don't draw them small. Draw them big so you can really get the form and get the details in there. And hell, I don't know, send me some stuff. I got the Discord. I got the Discord rocking now, but you're probably better off checking me on Twitch on Wednesdays, Friday, and Saturday at 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you can't catch those live shows, you can see me on YouTube, like you're doing right now, or Reddit, or Instagram, all at Christian Wolf Art. Okay? If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do. Hit the little wolf beneath my chin and subscribe today. And become a fan today. Learn something. Be a better illustrator by tomorrow, I promise. Okay? Thanks for your time, people. Have a good day.